Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to make this handbag with these gold handles. So I'm going to just be going over the details as we go along in the video. So to start off, I had two outer pieces. This is what's going to make the main body of the bag. It's two and they're both 15 by 16 inches. And then for the inside, I had two African print pieces and two solid color pieces. The yellow one is poly. So those are the dimensions. The lining pieces were 11 inches by 15 inches, and then the African print pieces were 5 by 15 inches. So for this bag, I had two different types of interfacing. I had a harder interfacing and a thin interfacing. For the inner pieces, I used thin interfacing only. So there, I had already cut my interfacing for the inner pieces, only the thin interfacing. Then I went on to iron it. So for the outer pieces, I used thick interfacing first and then hard interfacing. Then I went on to iron all my interfacing. So after ironing my interfacing, I now took the outer pieces of the bag, which I had ironed both hard interfacing and thin interfacing. I first started with the thin interfacing and then I now put the hard interfacing. So I would go onto the corner and then I would mark 1.5 inches going in on both sides, and then I just cut like 1.5 inch square on the bottom like that. Then I now went on to the top, then I marked the center, then I went to the edges and I marked 3.5 inches going down. And then I now drew that curve. So before I cut, I just started to fold that piece of fabric in half and then I cut like that to make sure that what I'm cutting on the side will be the exact same thing on the other side. So when I open it up, that is the shape that I have. Then I now use that piece to now cut the other piece. Just like that. I also used that same piece to cut the inner fabric pieces. Then after that, I now went on to join the lining pieces. The top and the bottom pieces of the inner lining. So after stitching, that is what it looks like, and it should be the same size as the outer pieces. If not, then you can go ahead and just make adjustments and trim. And then I took my lining pieces and then I put them aside, and then I went to the outer pieces now, and then I joined them in the middle. I went on and then I stitched there. So after joining, this is what it looks like. Then I went to the sides now. I also went and I stitched the sides. And then after stitching the sides, I now went on to prepare the corners. So I just pinned them like that, and then I now went on to stitch them. So as you can see, the bag is already starting to take shape. Then I now went back to my lining pieces now, and then I first stitched the sides. I only pinned the sides and sewed the sides. And then I now put the lining piece inside the bag, making sure that the right sides are facing each other, and then I pinned that whole top part, and then I just put pegs or pins as I went along, and then I went to stitch it. So after stitching, before I turned it inside out, I just did these little notches so that when I turn it inside out, there's no bumps or anything like that. Then I now went on to close those edges. So the first thing that I did was to stitch the bottom, but then I left a gap which I would use to turn it inside out. After sewing, then I now went on to prepare the corners the same way that I had done with the outer pieces. And then I now used the little gap that I had left to turn the bag inside out. After turning it inside out, I straightened it out, and then I now went on to sew that gap. So there is the gap closed, and then I now turned the bag inside out to make sure that the outer part of the bag is on the outside and the inner lining is on the inside. So because of all that turning and turning it inside out, the bag had some creases, so I just started to press it before I added the handles. So I just pressed everything, pressed all the seams out, pressed all the edges and also the bottom so that the bag will sit nicely. And then I now went on to add my handles. So where I get these handles, I actually got these handles from a bag that I thrifted. It was like a second-hand bag that I actually bought only for this purpose. It also came with other hardware that I did not use for this bag. I'll use it in my next projects. So that is where I get my handles. I take my handles from old bags. I get my handles from old bags. So I don't know, you can also order them online if you wish, but usually suppliers who sell these handles, they will not like maybe sell just one pair of handles. They want you to order like many, for example on Alibaba. So the easiest option for me is to just thrift handbags that have good hardware that I can reuse. So you can actually put pockets inside. This was just a very like the simplest way to make a tote bag without a zip or anything like that. You can still add a press stud if you wish. So that is all for this tutorial, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. And by the way, I also recently just made a bucket hat using the same fabric. So now I have a matching pair of a bucket hat and a handbag. I'm also going to link the video of the bucket hat if you guys are interested, so that you can check that out as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, you guys. I really hope to see you in the next one. I'm going to be making 2 more handbag videos in the coming month with nice handles like this, from bamboo to plastic handles. Just stay tuned.